Everybody. In this video, we will just discuss how to design a digital clock using Python. Okay, and how to create its .exe file, .executable file. Okay, so very interesting topic we are going to cover in this particular video. Okay, so let us start writing code here for display of digital clock. Okay, now we all know that what exactly digital clock is. Okay, so if you want to write a Python code to display a digital clock, then obviously initially we have to design, we have to write a code for the design of the digital clock, and then we have to write a code to actually display timing on that clock. Okay, so actually see, if we want to design the UI of digital clock, then we have to import tkenter library. Okay, so let us import a tkenter library. So we all know that how to import tkenter library. So we have to write like this: tkenter import star. Okay, now this library or this module we import because we have to design the UI of digital clock. Okay, and then actually if we want to display timing on that design, then for that Python support one more module. That module is time module, so we have to import time module as well. So if you want to import it, you have to just write like this: import time. Okay, now here what we have done, we just import tkenter for designing UI, and we import time to display actually time on the UI. Okay, now later on let us start writing code for the design of the digital clock. So if we have to display one window, so if we want to display a window, then we have to create an object of tk class. Okay, and then using window we have to call main loop. Okay, so let us save this particular program. So on C drive, here I have already created one folder that is with the name digital clock, and I am going to give name for this file as digital.py. Okay, so select here all files. Okay, so I have just imported two modules, and then creating object of window class and calling main loop. Okay, so if we execute this particular program, then we will get this type of window. Okay, now see, let us give title for this particular window as digital clock. So if we want to give a title for this window as digital clock, then here using window we have to call a title method, and let us give title here for this as digital clock. Okay, so I am going to give title here for this as digital clock. Let me save this particular program. Okay, so you can execute this program once again. So see here, it has given title as digital clock. Okay, now one more method here I just want to call, that is a resizable method. Okay, so here see, use of resizable method we have already discussed in our previous video. Okay, resizable method, and for resizable I am going to pass two parameters, that is 0 comma 0. See, initially here I am going to give comment for this line, and once again I just want to show you a output of this particular program. Okay, so see here, by default, see, we have not set any dimension for this window. Okay, so by default we are getting this window with this default dimension. So here it is possible for me to change its width, it is also possible for me to change its height. Okay, now if I remove comment of this line, okay, resizable, and if I once again execute this particular program, then see what happens in this case is, it is not possible for us to change the dimension. See here, it is not possible for us to change dimension of this particular window. Okay, so this is the use of resizable method. Okay, now on this window here, see here I want to display actually a timing, but timing directly we just cannot display on window. Okay, timing means what? That is a type of text, or we can say that is a type of information that we want to display. So any text or any information if you want to display on window, then for that on window we have to create one label. Okay, so on this window, if I want to create a label, then how to create a label? See, this point again we have already discussed in our previous video. So I'm going to create a label. Okay. So if you want to create a label, then create object. So I'm for object, I'm giving name here as L. So we have to create a label, means here we have to create an object of label class. Okay. And then for the constructor of this label class, we have to pass some parameters. So first parameter is window and second parameter is the text. Okay, so initially here for the text I am just going to assign value as type. Okay, just to show you how it is going to display. Okay, here I have just assigned value for text as type. Okay, so let us execute this program once again. Okay, before that we have to, here we have not used any geometry manager. So after creating this object, we have to call one of the geometry managers. So again, how many geometry managers are there? Three geometry managers are there. That is, first one is pack, then grid, then location place. Okay, so here I just want to use grid geometry manager. Okay, so how to use this geometry manager, again we have already discussed in our previous video. So here I am going to use grid geometry manager. Okay, and if you are using grid geometry manager, then we all know that it is working on rows and columns. So let us display this label in row 0 column 1, row 0 column 1. Okay, so here row 0 and column is equal to 1, suppose row 0 and column 1. Okay, so let us execute this program once again. Now here see, here we are getting this window and here we are getting our label text, that is type. Okay, see here for window we have not yet set any dimension. That's why if you are not setting any dimension to the window, then by default it is taking dimension of the widget that you are placing on the window. So which widget we place here on window? We place a label widget. And how the Python interpreter is going to assign the dimension for the label? It depends on the total number of characters present on the text. So how many characters are present here? 4 characters are present. So we are getting window with this dimension. Okay, so I hope you are getting this point. Now see, actually here on this label we don't want to display time text. Actually we want to display here time. Okay, now if this is the case, then see here in program, now I'm just going to close this window. Okay, instead of display of text as type, okay, so here I want to display actually a type. Okay, so if you want to display actually a type, then here see, you have to define one variable. Okay, so I'm going to define variable tm, okay, type, and then we have to call one function from time module. Okay, actually see, this time module we have already discussed, already imported in our program, and I have already told you what is use of type. Okay, this time module we import in program because actually we want to display time on label, and if you want to display time on label, then we have to call one function from this time module. Okay, so which function we have to call? See, we have to call function from time module. So you have to call it in this way, time dot, you have to call function strf time. Okay, and this is a parameterized function, and you have to pass parameter for this function in this way. Carefully you have to pass these parameters. So h, then here you have to give colon, then once again percent, then you have to write m, again colon, and then again you have to write percent, and then s. Okay, and then double inverted complete. Now what is use of this particular statement is, see, after execution of this statement what will happen? It is just going to call this function strf f only once. Okay, strf time. Okay, now in this case this is an inbuilt function available. In which module its definition is stored? Its definition is stored in time module. Okay, now what is use of this function is, this function is used to fetch the current system time. Okay, so here see, at rightmost corner at the bottom here, current timing is what? It is 10:42 am. Okay, so this strf function is used to fetch current system time in this format. Okay, means h stands for hour, n stands for minute, and s stands for second. Okay, so right now if I execute this particular program, then 10 hours 42 minutes and whatever second, that value will get stored in tm variable. Okay, and now means in tm variable currently we are storing current system timing. Okay, and then that timing we have to display uh, on a label. So initially on label we display what time text. So instead of that, now here on text we have to display tm, and what we have stored in tm, in tm we store current system timing. Now current system timing says it's 10:43 a.m. Okay, now let me execute this program once again. See here, here we are getting current system timing 10:43 and 16 seconds. Okay, now here see, you can use some attributes for this label, so that it will look more attractive. Okay, now let us use some attribute for label. Okay, for this label I want to use some attribute. Okay, so let us give some background color here for this label. So I'm going to give background color for the label as suppose maroon. Okay, then let us give foreground color as well. So background color, foreground color, these attributes we have already discussed in our previous video. Okay, then let us assign some font here. Okay, so font. So if we want to assign a font, then we have to use font attribute, and in bracket we have to write initially font name. Okay, and then we have to give a font size. Let us assign size for this as, let us assign size as suppose 24. Okay, and let us use these many attributes. Let us verify output initially. Okay, so let us execute this program once again. So see here, we are getting this type of output 10:44, 46. This is the current time. Okay, now let us use few more attributes. See, by default we are getting this with this size. Okay, so let us use border attributes. Okay, so let us give border here for this. So RELIEF. If you want to give border, then we have to use this attribute. We have already discussed this in our previous session. So possible values also we have already discussed. So I'm assigning value for this as group. Okay, and let us give some border width as well. So border width is suppose 7. Okay, one more thing is, see here by default we are getting output with we are getting output with the font Arial with font size 24. Okay, so see, along with this you can pass here one more attribute for the font as well. That is actually optional attribute. Okay, if you want to pass you can, otherwise no need to pass. Okay, so third parameter is optional, and that parameter is font style. That parameter is font style. Okay, so font style is suppose bold. Okay, let us assign some bigger font here for this. Okay, suppose I'm assigning font size for this as suppose 75. Okay, see here we are getting this type of output. Okay, so this is a current system timing. It's 11:30. So we are getting this timing on our window. Okay, now see what is problem with this particular code is, when the system timing change, then this timing doesn't get changed here. What I said, when the system timing change, this timing doesn't get changed. Okay, actually see, seconds are actually changing, but those are not reflecting here on this window. Okay, now to tackle this particular problem we have to modify our code. Okay, now let us discuss how to modify this code so that when system timing change, the timing that we are going to display on the label of this window also must get changed. Okay, so how to write code here for this? See here. Okay, now see here I am going to define one function in this particular program. Okay, so how to define function in Python? We have to use a def. Okay, and we have to give some name to the function. So I'm going to give name to the function as change time function. Okay, this is how we define function in program, change time function. Okay, now see what we will do here is, in earlier case what we are doing here, this line is responsible for what I said, responsible for fetching system timing and storing it in tm, and then this tm value we are assigning to the text, label text. Okay, now what we'll do is, this line will just cut here from this location and I'm going to paste it in function. Okay, and then
Now if we remove this statement from this, then here see, from this location I am going to remove this text attribute as well from the label. Okay, now its meaning is what? When this program is executed, initially we are not assigning any label here for this text. Okay, initially we are not assigning any text here for this label. Okay, sorry, so we are not assigning any text to this particular label. So from where we can assign text to this particular label, we'll assign text to this particular label through function. Okay, so to which widget we have to assign text? To label widget. And which object we create? L object. So using L object we have to call one method here, that is config method. Okay, and for this here we will use text attribute, and for the text attribute we will assign value as tm. Okay, so in earlier case, from this location we are going to assign the value to the text. Instead of doing like this, here I have defined one function, and through function I am going to assign text to the label. So through function, if you assign text to the label, then using label object we have to call config method. This config method we have already discussed in case of window in our earlier video. Okay, and then using this L object I want to call one more method here. Let me write code here first, and then we'll discuss meaning of this code. Okay, I'm calling one function, that is after function, and for that I'm passing two parameters. So first parameter is 200 and second parameter is change time. Okay, now see, I'm coming outside the body of this function, and from this location I'm going to call this function change time. This is how we can call function. Okay, now I just want to explain a flow of this particular program once again. Okay, initially see what will happen. When we execute this program, Python interpreter will execute this line first. So importing tk enter, then this statement will be executed, then importing time module. Okay, then this statement will be executed. Here we create object of tk class, that is window. So after execution of this object, this statement, one window will be created, and that window will be displayed with default dimension, and then this statement will be executed. So sequential execution will be there. So after execution of this statement, what will happen? It is not possible for us to change width and height of the window. Then this statement will be executed. It will just give title to the window as digital clock. Okay, then this statement will be executed. It will just create one label. Okay, now for your it will just create one label, but for this label we have not assigned any text here. Okay, see here, we have not assigned any text. So from which line we are assigning text? Through this function we are assigning text. Okay, so and then this label will be placed at row 0 column 1. Okay, now and then this statement will be executed. Okay, now see, initially I just want to cut this particular program function. Okay, and I just want to show you output here. Okay, see here, after execution of this line, this program, what will happen? One label will be created without text, but some background foreground color we have given, and it is placed at row 0 column 0. I want to show you output here. Okay, see here, we are getting this type of output because we have not assigned any text here for this label. We have not assigned any text. Okay, so let me close this window. Now I just want to paste the function code once again. Now see, after execution of this line, that label will be there but without text. Okay, then control will come here on this function. Okay, now when control will come here on this function, then directly this statement will not be executed. Okay, this is function, remember, when the function code will be executed when function is called. So here we have not call function, here we define function. So this portion will be discarded, and when this portion will be executed, see, now when this function is called, when this statement is executed. Okay, now when this statement is executed, then control will come here on this function, and then code within this function will be executed. So here control will come. So current system timing will be fetched, that is 11:36, and it will just get stored in tm. Then that tm value will be assigned as a text to which label, which widget? Label widget. So after execution of this line, timing will be fetched. After execution of this line, for the label, text will be assigned, and that text will be tm. Now next line is important here. See, this statement is very important. Okay, and slightly complicated to understand. Okay, what will happen after execution of this line? See, two parameters we pass here for this function. First parameter is 200 and second is change time. Change time is what? It is a function name. Okay, and what is this 200? It is a timing, and its unit is millisecond. Okay, now what is meaning of this statement is, this particular function, change time function, this change time function will be called after every 200 millisecond. What I said, this change time function will be called after every 200 millisecond, means from the body of this function, same function we are calling. So its meaning is what? Here we are using concept of recursion. Okay, what is recursion? When function is called itself, then that process of calling function is called as recursion. So why we use concept of recursion? Because we want to change the system timing, okay, continuously, and because of that reason this change time function we have to call continuously, and for in getting that type of effect here, this change time function we are calling after every 200 millisecond, not second, remember. Okay, now I want to execute this program once again. Now see, this timing is changed. Okay, so 11:38, 33. So when this will become 60, okay, 60, at that time this will become 39. Okay, so I want to show you here. See, on the bottom right corner 11:38 is there. So when here second becomes 60, then this value will get changed, also this value will get changed. Okay, so let us verify output here. See, here we are getting 39, here also 39. Okay, so what is use of this change time function is, change time function is used to call used to change the timing when the system timing is changed. And which concept we use here for changing timing? We use recursion concept. Okay, okay, so I hope you are getting this point out, how to write a code to display a digital clock. Okay, this is how we can display a digital clock on window, okay, using Python. Now I hope you are getting how to write a code to get a digital clock, okay, using Python. Now I just want to discuss here one more point, that is how to create .exe file. Okay, now before proceeding with that, see, I have stored this program by giving name digital. Okay, on C drive I create one folder with the name digital clock, and in C drive I have just stored this Python program by giving name digital. You can right click on this particular file and you will check that, you can check that the extension of this file is, type of the file is python file.py. Okay, now what I want to do is, I want to convert this .py file into .exe file, okay. Now why to convert .py into .exe file is, exe file means as we all know, executable file. Okay, so if you want one example, suppose see, Microsoft Office is one software, we all are familiar with this software, Microsoft Office. Okay, if we want to install a Microsoft Office, see, Microsoft Office is also one type of program. Okay, if we want to install a Microsoft Office, then we are not getting program file of Microsoft Office software. Okay, what we are getting executable file, .exe file. We just download it and we install it on our machine. Okay, so for distribution we are not giving program files, .py files. For distribution we are always giving what? Executable file, .exe file. Okay, now if you want to create .exe file, then very first step that you have to perform is, see here, I'm just going to minimize this. Okay, so open your drive, okay, this PC, click on this PC. So I am here. Okay, so right click here and then select properties. Once you click on properties, then you will get this type of window. Here you have to click on advanced system setting. Okay, then you will get this type of window. On this window you have to click on environment variables. Okay, so once you click on environment variable, you will get this type of window. So here two different types of variables. So these are the variables for my user and these are system variables. Okay, so under system variable you have to check for path. See, this is a path, so you have to select path and then click on edit. Okay, click on edit. Okay, so once you click on edit, you will get this type of window. Okay, now here we have to insert one more path. Okay, so which path you have to insert? For that, see, you have to find your Python installation directory. Okay, now when I install Python on my machine, I have installed Python on C drive. So on C drive, here I will get the folder with the name Python. See, here I am getting folder with the name Python. So this is my Python installation directory. Okay, this folder I am getting here because during installation of Python I have selected the installation folder, installation drive as C drive directly. So that's why on C drive I am getting this Python folder. Okay, on your machine you will find this Python folder in the directory where you have installed this Python. Okay, so you have to just open this Python folder. Once you open this Python folder, then within Python you will get one more folder, that is script. Okay, so you have to open this script, then you have to copy this path, okay, and then open our previous window. So here in edit environment variable, we have to add this path. So just click on new, and here you will get this type of text box. Here just press Ctrl V. Okay, so it has just added script folder to environment variable, path environment variable. Okay, so this is the first step that you have to perform. So click on OK, then again click on OK, again OK. Okay, so what we have done, this script folder of Python install directory I have added in path variable in through environment variable setup. Okay, now after performing this, now you have to open your command prompt. Okay, so open command prompt. Okay, so this is our command prompt. Now see, before proceeding next step, you have to take care of one point, that is your machine must be connected to internet. See here my machine is already connected to internet. Now see, we have to download one module sorry, in our Python MySQL database connectivity. Initially we have downloaded one module with the name MySQL, if you remember. Okay, using same steps, here we have to download and install one more module, that is PyInstaller. Okay, so if you want to download and install a PyInstaller, then here you have to use command, that is pip then install, and then here you have to write PyInstaller, PYINSTALLER. Don't make any spelling mistake. Okay, PyInstaller. So after execution of this command, what will happen, it will just download PyInstaller from internet and will install it in our Python installation directory. Okay, so we will require this PyInstaller module. So for that we have to use this command, and before execution of this command, your machine must be connected to internet, because from internet it will just download and will install it on your machine. Okay, so press enter. So it will take some time. Okay, because it has to download the setup. See here, you will get this type of window. So downloading PyInstaller 3.6. Okay, initially it will just download and then will install it. Okay, so installing build dependencies, depending on your internet speed, it will take some time. You have to wait for some time. Okay, now downloaded, it has already downloaded this. Now it is just going to install it on our machine. Now see, successfully installed. Okay, now after getting this message, see, you have to open your folder in which you have saved your program. So as I said earlier, I have just saved my folder, save my program on C drive in digital clock folder. Now once you open this folder, then here you have to press key, shift key, and then right click, shift and right click. Okay, so you will get this option, open PowerShell window here. Okay, so you have to select this option. So once you click on this option, you will get this type of window. Okay, now I just want to show you. See, on C drive I create digital clock, and in digital clock folder I have stored program by giving name as digital. Okay, now what is the extension of this program? This is .py, and our aim is to convert .py into .exe. Okay, now if you want to convert .py into .exe, then on this PowerShell window you have to execute one command. That command is PyInstaller space, you have to write program name which you want to convert into .exe. So program name is digital.py. So what this command will do, this will just convert this digital.py into digital.exe. So press enter. it will take some time. Okay, so in the background it will just try to create .exe from .py. Okay, so you have to wait for some time. Okay, now see here process is completed. Okay, now you have to minimize this window. So after execution of that command, see earlier only these two files were there. Now it has automatically created some folders and some files. Okay, now from this folder you have to open this dist folder. Dist, open dist. Then in dist you will get your folder name with the name digital. Okay, and you have to open digital. Now in digital, see here, see this is a application file. This is a application file of our program. This is a execution file, .exe file of our program. Okay, so earlier, see from command prompt, if we want to execute a program, then we have to enter in that respective folder and then we have to write program name. But now here, if I just double click on this is an application file. Okay, double click on this, then see initially we'll get this console and then we'll get output of our program. Okay, so I hope you are getting this point, how to create a .exe. Okay, I just want to show you once again. You have to open this dist folder, dist folder, and then within dist you will get one more folder with the name digital, because digital is the name that we have given to our file. And then in that folder you will get this application file. So this is .exe file. So when I double click on this, then directly I am getting output of my program, because now that file is not .py file, that file is .exe file. Okay, now one more point I just want to discuss here is, see when I click double click on that application file, in the background I am getting this console as well, this console. Okay, so if you want to remove this console from the background, then in that case, see I just want to explain the next method as well. Okay, so let me close this window. So that background console I want to remove. Okay, so if this is the case, then you have to open PowerShell window once again. PowerShell window, see here, earlier we execute which command? We execute this command, PyInstaller space our folder name. Okay, now if you want to remove the background console, if you want to display only output of your program, then in that case, see here slightly you have to modify this command. Instead of PyInstaller space directly program name, here you have to write -w. Okay, so what this will do, this will just remove, when we execute program, this will just remove console from the background. Okay, so you have to execute this command once again. So let us execute this command. Okay, so I'm going to execute this program once again. So here it is just asking whether you want to remove previous. So press Y. Here press Y. Okay, so again see it is trying to build the same. Okay, so build process is completed. Now minimize this window. Once again open a dist folder, digital. Now this is our application file. Okay, so double click on this file. See now we are getting only output. Okay, in earlier case what was happening there? Along with this output in the background we got console as well. So using -w, see -w attribute, so where we use it here -w attribute, we just remove background console as well. Okay, so you can close, you can once again open this executable file. Okay, so this time we are not getting any background what we can say, any background console for this. Okay, now one more thing I just want to tell you. See here, earlier only these two files were there, and when we execute, when we try to create .exe, it has created so many stuff here. This folder, one more folder, this is file. Again when we open dist, we are getting so many files. Okay, so if we want to get only one file, only executable file, we don't want any other stuff. Okay, I want to create only exe file. If this is the case, then see here you have to open this PowerShell window once again. So earlier we execute which command? -w. Okay, so here see, here you have to give space, and you have to use one more attribute, that is minus, or we can say like hyphen, capital F you have to write, capital F. So W for what I said, W we use to remove console, background console. Okay, now hyphen F is for what? Let me show you output. Let us execute this program once again. Okay, let us execute this command. I'm going to execute this command once again. Now see what will happen in the background. In the dist folder, we are getting only what? We are getting only application file. In earlier case, in the dist folder, so many other files were there, but now those files are combined together in single file. So now this is our application file. So if I click on this, we will get output. It may take some time. Okay, so see here we are getting output. Okay, now here see in two different steps. Initially we use -w, then we use -f. Okay, so we can use both of them in a single command as well. Okay, now I just want to repeat this particular process. See, I just want to enter in this folder. This was our previous folder. These are the files that were created later on after execution of this command. So I want to close this PowerShell window. Okay, so I just want to keep our program only. Okay, so I want to delete all these stuff that were created by that PowerShell window. This file also was created by PowerShell window. Okay, now .exe is also not there. Okay, now see, once again we can follow same process. Here just press shift, then right click. Okay, then open PowerShell window. Okay, so we are here. Now here we can execute this command directly. PyInstaller space -w for removing console, space -A for not creating any other stuff. We want only single file, and then program name .py. Now see, in my folder nothing is there, only apart from our program nothing is there. Okay, so I want to execute this command here. Okay, now it has executed successfully. Now it has created these two folders. So as I said earlier, you have to enter in this dist folder. In distc we will get only application file. It has not created any other files. So this is our application file. You can double click on this file so that you will get your output. Okay, so it may take some time. See, we are getting output. This is .exe file. Remember, you can copy and paste this file on any machine. Okay, and just by double click you will get the output of your program. Even on that machine Python is not installed, then also you can, if you copy this particular file and paste it on some another machine where Python is not installed, and if you double click on this file on such machine, you will get this type of output. Okay, now for example, see, in the dist folder now we are having only one file. This is an application file. Okay, so you can copy this file anywhere you want. Also you can copy and paste this particular file in your pen drive as well. Okay, so I'm going to copy this particular file and I'm going to paste it on, suppose, E drive. Okay, E drive. Here I just want to paste that particular file. Okay, so I'm going to paste a respective file here. So this is the file, see, digital file. This is the application file. Okay, so if I click here, I will get our digital clock. Okay, it may take some time, but we'll get its output. See here, we are getting this output. Just like that, you can copy and paste this particular file, as I said earlier, on any other machine as well where Python is not installed. And there, if you double click on this file, you will get this type of output. Okay, so I hope you are getting this point, how to design a digital clock and how to create a .exe file. This is very interesting topic. Okay, now I just want to ask you one question based on the content of this particular video. Okay, so you have to just tell me what is use of change time function here. If you remember, while writing program, in the program we define one function, that is change time function. You have to tell me what is use of that change time function. Rather, what will happen if we will not use that change time function. Okay, so that's all for this video. Stay tuned for further updates. Thank you.